subtle presence.
All right, it is Wednesday. It is noon. It is time for the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you tuning in, it's spring break here at Wright State, so we don't have people walking down the hallways. So we won't get a lot of reactions today. So you can put your shirt back on, Jess.
Well, that was for the young kids. They're like 10-year-olds. I was like,
hey, be careful.
Yeah. According to Amber's law, I have to let. Oh, never.
Jess Cordery is a guest on the show today, and Nate Washington has come in as guest co-host, so he'll be with us for the entire 2 hours.
I sure will. How we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So far. It's early yet. The show just started, so it's usually hard to tell what direction it's going to go.
There's plenty of time for it to go off the rails then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I guarantee you it will at some point. There was... Or I don't even know what show I'm on. If it doesn't go off the rails, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. So anyway, it's been a busy week. A lot of things going on. I don't know what half of them are because I've just been sleepwalking through most of my days anymore. But actually, we had several cancellations for the show this week. Last minute. A couple days ago, I tried to scramble to get somebody in. Got Scotty Mays. He called in sick today, so
Scotty
had to scramble. Had like 3 hours to find people.
I wonder if he was at like hair product.
What's that?
I wonder if he was out of hair product.
That's probably what it was. Yeah, his mohawk went limp, and he didn't want to leave the house.
Not the only thing going limp.
He's feeling insecure. We love you, Scotty.
Yeah, yep. Get better. We'll get you back in some other time because I mean you're one of my most frequent guests, I think. So we'll definitely. He's one I call last minute like I did this week.
Oh, yeah,
and he canceled on me last minute. So I guess he's paying me back for always getting a hold of him last minute.
That's what happens.
Yep. So Jess, what's been going on with you?
Oh, no, what's been going on with me? A lot. I lost weight, and then I gained it back. So I mean, my weight is staying the same.
Yeah. It's good to keep it even. You have to find balance.
Yeah, I've been eating a tremendous amount of gravy. I tried an all gravy diet.
Really?
Yes.
How does that
nice.
work?
Not very effective. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I've been doing some stand up. I did last November in Columbus, and kind of just been hanging out. Found a new job with DCS Technologies. I want to let them know thank you for the employment.
Cool.
And I'm really at lunch right now.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. I'm glad you spent your lunch hour with us.
Yes.
I'm here because I was fired this week.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I keep trying to be.
Well, here's the thing. Those detox drinks don't work.
Oh,
so, yeah.
No,
and I am here to tell you that they do not work.
Yeah, but what works better is the fake stuff.
Yeah,
the fake urine. You just have to warm it up right because they I've heard. I've never. I mean,
well, let me say this. Let me say this about this particular instance because I've heard about the synthetics and things like that. Well, at this particular place, they actually want to watch and see. They want to see you fill the cup is what I'm trying to say. So
that's kind of creepy.
So yeah,
I don't think I could even go with somebody watching.
Well, here's the thing. Because
I've tried.
I said, look, if it's going to be weird for me, it's going to have to be weird for you too. So I asked him, I said, how much eye contact? And I stared at him the whole time. The whole time.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
He's
going to be weird for both
there,
of us.
Well, how did you know when the cup was full if you're staring at them the whole time?
He was close enough. He snatched it out of my hand when it was full.
Yeah. That's a bad idea too.
Yeah.
Splash factor is what I was going to say. You always got you got to fill enough cups to know when that splash hits you just right. It's full.
Oh, he knew because that splash was green and smoking. So he knew. He knew.
It's like I'm not even going to test this.
He knew immediately. Yeah.
In fact, just smelling it, I'm a little buzzed.
he knew immediately. So yeah, I don't work there anymore. But that was the part-time gig anyway. So.
Well, if they're wanting to watch you pee all the time, I probably wouldn't want to work there either.
Yeah, it's come on, man. If I let you watch me pee, can I keep my job, please?
Yeah, that's
Like, do we have to do this, sir?
yeah. Are you the only one they do that they
Just
watch?
me. Just me.
Well, you should feel flattered somewhat.
I'm frightened.
See, off the rails already.
Already,
I was thinking it must be like a baby's arm holding an apple if everyone wants to watch it.
Yeah.
sir. If I let you watch me go, can I keep my job, please?
Yeah, that guy watching is just like what that guy off of that CSI Miami takes his sunglasses off and goes, "That's magnificent." I have never seen anything quite like that.
Knock it off.
Yeah, flattery will get you
Now
everywhere.
I see why he's wearing long pants with no holes.
choice, yeah.
I don't have a choice.
I have no choice.
Oh,
Man.
well, it's so good to have you on the show now.
Hey, it's fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Oh, but anyway, what were we talking about before we got off on that? Because you started a new job.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
yes.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
Being gainfully employed.
Gainfully employed, and I get to keep my clothes on. Big plus.
That's always good. Nobody watching you pee.
Yeah, well, at first, but
No matter how much you bang.
Yeah, I got 2 kids. Somebody's always watching me pee. It's like, no, it's old hat. Dad, no, what is it? Dad, is that a? And it's
Well,
like,
we are showmen, so
yes.
if we can get up and do stand up comedy, we should be
You
able
can go
to
pee for
have
a
some-
guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it.
exactly.
that's true. When you were saying get up, I thought you were going a whole different direction. That's good. I'm glad you kept it where it was.
Yeah. We don't want to go too far.
No,
on,
no,
'cause
no.
we are on the air.
Understood.
And probably getting several letters already. Most of which is fan mail for Nate at this point.
Yes.
Because they want to get on his Instagram and see.
Can you mention your Twitter handle, by the way, while we're at it?
Yeah, at Thorny Badlands. Make sure you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Let's try to bring this thing back under control.
Where are we going?
Let's see here.
Fight Club. There is a new mic in town. A new mic run by Nate Washington. Comedy Fight Club. I have some information here. It's Ohio Chiefs at 1124 Leo Street.
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Really?
No.
I've first Wednesday of every month. Is it gonna, because we're going to start March 7th.
No, can't say I'm familiar with that.
Well, I have here that you're going. Jay Snyder's going to be headlining the first one, which ought to be fantastic. And the sign-ups, if you want stage time on that, are at 7:30 for Comedy Fight Club. And can you tell us anything about that? Or
I don't even know what that is, sir.
so it's I've heard rumors about it. There's
I got nothing. I mean, I'm thinking, wow.
I mean, it's like huh?
No.
Because there's it'd be cool to have something like that as like a training ground. You know?
Yeah.
Because what happens is you have these comics that go up at like Wiley's for the Sunday comics all the time, and they get used to that crowd and that audience where
That's a great room, actually.
It is. It's a great room, and we try to kind of keep people from talking to distracting the comics and heckling and stuff like that, because it makes it tough. And a lot of times you have first timers and even some of the newer guys that have been doing it for a while. They get, I know I get flustered when I got a heckler. And,
it can be very disheartening at times.
Yeah. So we need a training ground kind of thing.
If there was something like that, I think it would be pretty awesome. It would be something I can get into, but I've never heard of it.
The chapter's gone now. Murray's doesn't do shows anymore, which Murray's was pretty good.
Flashbacks, ladies and gentlemen. I have deeply apologize.
But with the chapter, now we do have hookah. Now hookah, I guess it gets pretty brutal if you're scared of 16-year-old high school girls.
Oh yeah, what was that about? Like, that's why you don't see me at a lot of those, man, because I won't be on the receiving end of a serving from a 16-year-old. Like,
yeah, because that's I guess what happened. Were you familiar with the story?
No, I am all ears for this though. Please.
Okay, well, what happened? I guess last week at the Hookah Bazaar open mic, which is run by Nick Taylor. He brought it back. Used to be Joe Young ran that, and It was a fair mic. It was a pretty good mic, and I guess I guess being a hookah bar, a lot of high school kids can get in instead of because they can't get into a real bar, and I guess there was a 16-year-old girl that got on stage at the Hookah Bazaar last week and just spent several minutes roasting every older comic in the room, just randomly, and she did it for a high school English project.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
I'm giving mad respect for that.
well,
If it was a good roast.
absolutely. Well, I've heard it started off funny because it was more shocking and just wasn't really as funny as it could have been. But it was her first time getting up there, and she's in a room full of adults, but of course teenagers, all they do is talk back to adults anymore.
Well, yes, that is true.
She probably just pretended she was talking to her parents or something. But
Yeah, I don't respect new comics.
well, nor should you. Nor should you. So you should incorporate some stuff like that into Fight Club, where you just like pick a random guy coming in and say, just heckle the crap out of him.
Dude, what? Why do you keep attaching this Fight Club to me, man? I've never heard of this show, man. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Does anybody? Do you know of anybody that knows anything about it, or?
Yeah, what's the dealio?
No one's told me anything.
Huh. Weird. Well, I'll have to check my sources and see, because it sounds like, if we can incorporate some stuff like this, what we could have is like a big wheel where you spin and you get just random weird stuff happen during your set, kind of distract you.
Curveballs, per se. Something that the comics couldn't even prepare for. Way out of bounds.
Right. That way, if a 16-year-old girl got up on stage there, she would be sent home crying.
Yeah, try that one, 16-year-old girl.
In high school, I'd like to say I sent a lot of 16-year-old girls crying out of sheer disappointment.
That was years ago, though, like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
I was...
The case been thrown out yet?
Yeah.
Still got
it's still pending.
But no, I heard that the 16-year-old girl thing. There was some beef on Facebook about that because somebody made a joke about it that everybody jumped on and said, "Well, that's inappropriate." It's like, to me, if that was a 16-year-old boy, they would have annihilated him in that mic. Somebody would have got up and torn him to pieces verbally.
I can kind of agree with that. I think.
Yeah.
I think boy or girl, if someone hits you, that means the game's on.
That's the way I feel. If somebody's going to get up in a room full of people like that you don't know and just start dissing them,
well,
like
not
that,
people,
that
comics.
Comics.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they should have. I am of the opinion that they should have took flight on her. I would have let loose, and I wouldn't have spared any expense.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you're in here, like, with comics. Yeah. If you're going to try to act like a comic.
Boys, you're going to.
Yeah.
I sometimes throw a jab at the host to see if I can get something from him. Right. Just a little soft, nothing too. I'm not roasting him per se.
Well, I love the comic before you does something like really weird. I love going up and pointing that out.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
not
makes for a good show.
But at least acknowledging it and making some kind of joke about it.
Yeah, a segue into your set.
Right.
Exactly.
I am from the Bernie Mac School of Comedy, which means I am not afraid of anything that happens on that stage. So, I kind of wish I was there.
Me too.
I kind of wish I was there.
I would have loved that. You or Ray Jackson were able to get up there after. That would have been would have been fantastic.
I kind of wish I was there, but I am mature enough to recognize why it was a good thing that I wasn't.
I just know I'm not allowed to tell jokes in front of high school kids. So that's pretty much my stuff won't float.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
That's probably a good rule
Good
to live
assessment. By. 18 or older, yeah.
I do wish I could find out more about this comedy Fight Club, though, because it sounds like it'd be really interesting.
It does.
So
I mean,
we'll have to dig around, see if we know anybody knows anything. If you know anything about Comedy Fight Club, call in. Area code 937-775-5555.
I don't know. There probably won't be anybody calling.
So nobody knows anything about it.
I've never heard of it.
Well, I don't know where I got the information. The Ohio Chiefs, 1124 Leo Street. Sign-ups at 7:30, first Wednesday of every month. is what I have for. So
Yep.
we don't. Okay, well, moving on. Jess, do you have any shows coming up?
I don't have any shows, so if anyone's listening and looking to book someone, I am willing to.
He's free and
to his offer.
right now with a suit and tie, kind of looks like Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Yeah. No respect.
No respect. None at all, I tell you. Oh, I saw a guy walking naked down the street. I said, hey, what are you doing? He goes, you came home early.
There you go.
Yeah, so no. That's not the kind of jokes I tell, though.
Right,
but,
right,
you know,
right. 'Cause otherwise, we'd know why you aren't getting.
Exactly. That's pretty well. No, I just haven't had the time. I was working on getting a show in April, kind of fell through. So I'll see if I can get a venue for April still. I'm still trying to work on something for that. So I'll be looking for some comics. I even brought Stevie Mack out of retirement.
Oh,
one of my
really,
favorite comics in the Dayton area.
I haven't seen him. Did he actually retire? Because he's way too young to retire.
Steve just he recently had a kid. I think that may have been the reason why he kind of like
okay. Well, yeah, exactly.
stepped away for a little while. Yeah,
a boy, and I think a girl's coming on the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just
unlike Doug Morgan, who decided to spend more time posting things on Facebook like baby pictures.
Oh my God, Doug Morgan won't stop about his kid.
So Steve Mack went the other direction and just said, okay, I want these weirdos away from my child.
Right. It's like, we get it, Doug. Somebody was willing to sleep with you. Great.
Yep, at least once.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep, good job. Everything worked.
He won't stop showing us that receipt, though, will he?
I ate at Morton's Steakhouse once. 13% tip.
I love Doug. He's so fun to mess with. Uh-oh, you just...
I'm throwing my phone at Don.
Sorry about that, folks.
Man.
I might have just took us off the air.
Yeah, that's a good... It's probably for the best.
Do you see what that message says?
So, what are you planning on doing this week?
So, is it just silence is what we got over the air, or are they telling us to shut up?
No. That's he can't hear anything. He was saying that he's trying to listen, and he.
Well, maybe we're having a good conversation.
So now, is he trying to listen online, or is he trying to listen because the online might be down?
Yeah, I think he's trying to listen.
Yeah, website
online.
might be down because we've been having all kinds of problems. Apparently, Patrick, if you're listening, get your butt in here and fix this place because we can't have this. Anyway, well, anybody that does miss the show that, of course, isn't hearing this now, listen in. You can catch it later on as the podcast version, but if you could hear this, you wouldn't need to, but I'm going to say it anyway. All the links to my podcast are on the life1069.com or donsmithcomedy.com. Either one will get you there because I'm cheap and I just have the one website. And it's very poorly put together because I did it myself. But there are a bunch of links there, so you can actually get to a professional site that has my, like iTunes and PodBean and all the, even Eventide Entertainment has feeds for it. So if you aren't hearing this, that's where you go.
And I typically listen to it every other week. I don't catch every episode, but I try to catch them when I can, especially when I know some of the local comics that are on. And it's a good listen. I mean, it's an hour, 2 hours, typically, depending on how he splits the shows. And
is it weird to promote my show on my show?
I don't know, but it's just it's funny. If you had a 2 hour drive, like I go to Cleveland, I go to Columbus, I go to different areas, so you need something to listen to. AM, like the long AM channels I can get are just awful out of Cleveland, so it's good to have the podcast.
Yeah. It's this or conservative talk radio. It's it's the only two choices that you have for listening.
You must choose.
Yes, it's me or Rush Limbaugh. Who's it going to be? Is he even still doing radio shows?
Ditto heads. He's around.
Is he around?
Yeah, he's probably doing something.
Exclusively on the
I'm
EIB.
sure he is. He just doesn't go away.
Right, yeah. Rush.
We're going to take a little break. Be back here shortly. Here's a little St. Mary's, St. Michael. We'll do Neat.
Neat.
almost had it all, and I lost everything. All that's left to me is my name. But I don't want your pity. The only thing I need is to drown my sorrows and pain. So bartender, you asked me what I'd like to drink. Well, it's been a long day and I can hardly think, and life is such a mess. So if you're asking me, well, I'll take my whiskey neat. The last one that we pulled, then we'd all go clean. But then I saw them gun him down. Don't ask me what I mean, don't say anything, just pour me another round. So bartender, you asked me about my drink of choice. Well, I don't want anything to water down my voice. Now my life is such a mess, so maybe what I need is to take my whiskey neat. Maybe it's my fault, maybe I brought it on myself. Now this glass is my only friend. I'm drinking till I'm numb, and I still hurt like hell. Just keep pouring until I say when. Oh, bartender, you asked me what I'd like to drink. Well, it's been a long day, I can hardly think. My life is such a mess, so maybe what I need is to take my whiskey neat. So I'll take my whiskey neat. Yeah, I'll take my whiskey neat. When you look into my eyes, when you look into my eyes, can you tell me what you see? Can you see? Can you see what I've become? Can you see what I've become? Or do you see only me? Because I don't know what I'm to do. Without you, I'm lost, it's true. Can you please take me? So when you look into my eyes, when you look into my eyes, can you tell me what you see? 'Cause I don't know what I've become. I don't know what I've become without you here next to me. Because I don't know what I'm to do. Without you, I'm lost, it's true. Can you please take me? tell me what you see.
Pointed sticks? Oh, we want to learn how to defend ourselves against pointed sticks, do we? Getting all iron mighty, eh? Fresh fruit not good enough for you, eh? Oh. Well, I'll tell you something, my lad. When you're walking home tonight and some homicidal maniac comes after you with a bunch of Loganberries, don't come crying to me.
Is that what that is?
All right, we are back on the Life radio show. I'm your host, Don Smith. Sitting in the studio, Nate Washington, my guest co-host for the day. Jess Cordery had to run down to the facilities. He may be a little while. We're never sure. But we're going to keep things running in the meantime. Did you have some sponsors you wanted to talk about for
Oh yeah,
coffee shows for Lori Graves and the Majestic
Theater. Yeah. Vince Morris, the Vince Morris Return Show.
Oh wow,
That's
okay.
going to be March 31st at the Majestic Theater in Chillicothe, Ohio. One of my favorite places to perform. This is actually going to be my second time doing the theater, so I can't wait. It's a beautiful theater. It's haunted. It's
haunted.
That's what they say.
Is that why it's majestic?
I think so. It's full of like.
We got a phone call coming in,
ghouls and ghosts.
let's see what we got on the phone here. We'll get right back to that. This is the Life. You're on the air.
Hey, yes. Hey, I had a couple questions about this comedy fight club, if that's okay.
Comedy Fight Club. Okay, I can give you what information I have. What would you like to know about it?
Can anybody fight at the fight club?
Can anybody fight at the Fight Club?
No, there is no fight club. I don't know what this is about. I've never heard of a comedy fight club.
Then where I get? Well, this is somebody. This isn't me asking now. This is somebody else that has some information about it that's asking about
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
That's
seriously,
interesting.
I'm from out of town. I have some stuff on the straight. What happens if you get beat up at the fight club?
Would somebody get beat up at the Fight Club, or is?
Yeah.
No.
What if someone gets beat up at the
I
fight club? What
have
happens to
no
you?
idea what this fight
Nope.
club is. I can't say I've even heard of this.
Huh. Well, that's another. Did anything else?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, well, I don't know. What will happen if you move into a house? I mean, can we move into a house and make homemade stuff together? What do you think about that, right? Anything?
Can we move into a house and make homemade soap together? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you know what I mean, mate.
That's where are you calling from?
I'm in Huber Heights right now.
Huber
Yeah.
Heights.
No. Well, thank you for
Huber-
tuning in.
Huber Heights, Australia.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Oh, there.
They hung up. Yeah, That's
we
weird.
must have upset him. No,
that was weird.
well, these things happen. You never know what's gonna. Well, Huber Heights, Australia.
That's
I
right.
never
The
even
down
knew there
under
was-
side
Yeah.
of Huber Heights.
Well, I knew most of Huber Heights was down under. I just didn't know, or at least down. There's Jess. He's back. Could you everything work out?
It was better than the time I took one in South Africa.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Huber Heights, Australia?
I have not.
Huber Heights, Australia.
Okay, I didn't think so. 'Cause it's,
Real quick before we get too far off, because you know how we do on the Life. Let me shout out a couple people real quick who are
All right.
helping to bring the man, the myth, the legend, Vince Morris, and myself back to Chillicothe, Ohio. Let's shout out Cranium Fire Protection. They are one of our sponsors for the show. Thank you very much for helping to make this show possible. Sinfully Tan. They are at 643 Central Center in Chillicothe. I might go there before the show
well, yeah,
to get
you-
a little
you look
base.
You're looking a little pale.
I kind of feel pale, so I'm going to get me a little base coat laid down at Sinfully Tan before the night of the show. Just because I like to feel bronze. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I like to feel a little
Yeah.
brown.
Well, yeah, and it makes you feel a little more special. Too.
That's right. I do feel special when I go to the tanning bed.
We've got another phone call coming in.
Nice.
Yeah, we got.
Nice.
Let's see who we got on
This
here
is cool.
now. WWSU, you're on the air.
Hey, I'm calling in. I'm trying to get some information on what may or may not be a comedy show going on. It's some type of fight club that I may or may not be talking about right now. It depends.
So you may not be talking about it either.
I may not be talking about it right now.
Okay. Well, did you or did you not want to know something about it?
I want to know something about it, but I'm not going to tell anybody that I know anything about it. How about that?
That seems to be going around.
We're kind of in a box here,
yeah,
folks.
Exactly.
I
got
know,
us in a box.
I know absolutely nothing about it. Like,
So Nate's got
it's-
nothing. I've got some kind of secondhand information. I don't know what of it's true. I can't get anything verified.
And I don't even know what I had for breakfast this morning. I
Hey, that's
apologize.
this is closer than I was 5 minutes ago. I'm moving. I'm getting hot.
Okay.
you
Well,
might be on the trail of finding out this comedy fight club, man. Like, if it's a real thing, it would definitely be the bomb. I think it would be something definitely that the city could use.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be great if it exists.
Right. Let's say, perchance, if this place where this comedy fight club did take place or it did happen, where would it happen at if it were to happen?
I'd say if it were to happen, Ohio Chiefs would be a great place for it. That's 1124
Okay.
Leo Street. That sounds like it would be a good.
I know about Ohio Chiefs. That's my spot. I hang out
Is
there
it?
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, wouldn't that be a great place for it?
For what?
I heard about that place. Ohio Chiefs is a real place. Okay. All right. I need to be there.
You should, man.
Yeah, it might be the first Wednesday of every month.
If it was a real thing.
If it was going to happen.
That's a big if.
And
If it was to happen.
I'd say another hypothetical, if there was going to be one on March 7th, Jay Snyder may or may not be headlining.
Who?
Okay.
Well, it may or may not be Jay Snyder.
Yeah. We don't have a clue.
I'm not even sure if I've heard of him at this point.
I've smelled him once.
You smelled him once?
There
So
are
there's,
unknown knowns and unknown unknowns.
well, we need to be concerned about the things we know we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
These are things we don't know that we don't know. But
I tell you what I do know. I know I've never heard of this thing that you guys are talking about. I don't.
apparently, this
is new to me.
Yeah, it's like
Hey,
a
actually,
myth.
really what happened, I might have had a dream last night, and I'm trying to bring it to fruition. And when I'm talking to you guys about it, you can fill me in about what I had in my dream last night, because I think y'all was there. Yeah,
No.
might have been at Chiefs, Ohio Chiefs,
Nope.
at this fight club for comedy.
Nope. That was just that, sir. It was a dream. You are losing your mind.
Yeah,
It was
most
just a dream.
if I'm in someone's sleep, it's normally a nightmare or a conviction,
Right.
a felony.
You can't sue who I'm here with. So
Yeah, well, he dreamed
there's
you were
definitely
Rodney
a nightmare.
Dangerfield, actually. So,
No. Comedy Fight Club. Never heard of it.
okay. Well, I appreciate the call.
Thanks for calling.
If you find anything else out, be sure to let me know, or don't.
I will not let any of you know anything, because I don't know anything, but I will be there on March 7th. I will be nowhere. I will be there, but I won't be anywhere at
Hey.
the same time.
I don't know.
Figuring that out.
I would say be there just in case something happens.
In case there is a fight
Right.
club,
Just in
and then
case.
you might be able to
Just
see
in
somebody get
case.
punched in the
Right,
face.
because I'd hate to miss it if it happened.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it'd be awesome. So, like, maybe just go down to Ohio Chiefs on March 7th, just in case
Right, at 7:30.
something happens.
Yeah, just because
That sounds
it
good.
might. Yeah,
But
yeah.
never tell anyone you were there.
Right, because I wouldn't.
That would
won't.
probably be the first rule of it, would be to not talk about it. I wouldn't want anybody to tell anybody about it.
I'm
could
just going
be-
to
you
grab
might be
some
onto
people
something.
and have them come with me, just in case.
Well,
If
yeah,
nothing going to happen, I'm going to have some friends with me, and we're going to go and make sure nothing happens.
right. Because if there is a fight club, you're going to want backup.
I know
I'm
I
going to
wasn't
need
there.
backup because I can't
Right.
fight.
Well, the second thing, I probably wouldn't talk about it.
Talk
Talk about what?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Good call. All right. Well,
This is true.
thanks for calling in. Again, if you find anything else out about it, try to get people in March 7th, just in case it happens.
Yeah, I'm going to get as many people as I can March 7th in case it's a riot of comedy that won't happen.
Right.
Nope.
Right. Can't happen.
No such thing.
Not possible.
No such thing.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
You know what? Thanks for calling in, sir.
Drive carefully. Please
No
stop back
problem.
again.
I tell you what I can talk about.
What can you talk about?
I could talk about Shauna Detillion at Rise Realty in Chillicothe because she's one of the sponsors for the Majestic Comedy Show with Vince
See, right
Morris.
back to it. That's what
That's
makes
right,
you a
man.
professional, Nate.
That's right, man. I can weave in and out, man. Weave in and out. So thank you for supporting the show, Shauna. We will, you know what? I'm going to right now on the life personally guarantee you that you'll have a good time that night. Right now, I'm going to say it. Shauna, you're going to have the time of your life at the Majestic Theater on March 31st. I guarantee it. How about that?
All right.
Hey,
There you
time
go.
of your life. Patrick Swayze's song.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're never going to feel this way again. You're not.
Yes, you swear.
Yeah, I swear. It's the truth, Shauna.
All right.
And I'll do it all for you.
See, I missed that because I was getting a message from our technician here at the studio to tell me that the problems we're having with it can't be fixed. Thank you, Patrick.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Excellent work.
Yeah, couldn't do it without you.
Could not.
Just
good.
messing with you, Patrick. You're all right. Let's see. Should we hit some? Let's hit some news stories.
Yeah.
Let's hit some news stories here. 'Cause
Yes.
This first one, I've really been buzzing. This one, I'd heard a big buzz about this, and I've been really itching to get to it. An adult entertainment company has come out with a new sex toy that's really saucy. A vibrator that orders pizza after you orgasm.
Nice.
Yes, on Thursday morning, adult entertainment company Cam Soda introduced the, quote, Rub Grub. An interactive vibrator that orders food after you're done using it for its original purpose. According to a press release, the Diddle and Dine device comes with an internet-connected button on one end that's similar to the button on an Amazon Dash Wand, which already sounds like a sex toy. Once a person programs their payment, delivery, and order information, the Rub Grub connects to your local pizza place through its application programming interface, which is how two pieces... you don't need to know all that. So whenever a person is done pleasuring themselves, they can order a pizza just by pushing a button. Because usually that's what I'm thinking of, is I need a pizza.
That's dumb.
The vibrator. This is not fake news. The vibrator will only be connected to Domino's at first. But Cam
that's how
Soda
to get
Vice
you.
President Darren Parker predicts that other national chains will jump on this product once they sense the buzz. So that's
You know what? Who wants Domino's after that?
exactly.
Though? Like,
Can't you get? And why would Domino's say, "Yep"? Because they had to step up for sponsorship for that and say they want to be the first one connected to your.
we want to be the one to bring you the pizza.
Well, if
we
there's
want
gonna
to see
be
your
a-
face afterwards.
Yep. Yep. You ordered from the Rub Grub, didn't
We
you?
want to look you in the eye when you're done.
In all honesty, their base is the single lonely fat girl on a Saturday night
Yeah,
going out.
It's the
So they
only
figure,
person
you know
that's
what?
still eating Domino's.
Exactly. That's who's eating the Domino's. So they're sitting there buzzing like, oh, double pepperoni, sausage. You can just see that easily happening, or no green peppers. I mean, there's all
Well,
kinds
I'd
of different.
imagine you'd have to have the whole order programmed in already.
Well, you might
Because there's just one button. It's not like you're texting.
Well, that's a good point. You
Egg,
took the whole fantasy out of
Yes.
that.
eggplant is a good pizza topping, I hear.
Really?
Yeah, eggplant.
I'll program that into
Good
my Rub
pizza
Grub.
topping. For your Rub Grub. Extra eggplant, please.
I think he's taking deliveries for fat girls. You lonely fat girls are lonely no more.
Extra eggplant. Yeah.
Oh,
For
Well,
the Rub Grub. Yeah, that's
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 weird.
kinda dumb.
Yeah, that's because it's one button on the bottom of it. How do you keep from hitting that multiple times
Exactly.
in the throes of passion?
you before you know it,
Especially
you
from
got
multiple
19 pieces stacked up on the porch. You know,
Man, it's a good night.
batteries are dead. You know, you got all this pizza to eat now,
Yeah. Oh man, that's terrible. Yeah.
and it's Domino's.
Oh, and if it connects to the internet, what's to say it's not sending other things out?
Right.
Because I mean, can you sync it to your Facebook?
Can you hook it up to your Alexa?
Right.
Yeah. Like, hey, Alexa.
Yeah.
I mean, no. It just brings my mind to.
And if you did hook your vibrator up to your Alexa, would that make you a lesbian?
It would make you, yeah. That's a good question.
Now,
My
does
mind
it-
boggles over that.
I hear there's these free porn sites. Now, does this become one of those sections? Girls that do that then get a pizza delivered, filmed to themselves.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking of the 70s pornos where it's always a pizza delivery guy.
Oh yeah,
You know, and you got that
time.
in the background. Yeah, they have to play that run there. That has to be like an ice cream truck. They just broadcast that from the Domino's cars.
They
now.
play, the theme song, The Shaft.
Yeah, there you go.
The theme song, The Shaft. When you hear that,
Yeah.
you know the
Somebody
pizza is
just
on the way.
ordered a pizza.
Somebody got a pizza.
Somebody got a piece and a piece. Yeah, from one pie to another.
Waiting on that.
Yeah. Hey-o.
Yes.
We are officially now off the rails again on the life. What
All
else
right,
we got?
We're
What
gonna
else we got?
going to bring us back on the.
Let's bring it back. What else we got? Come on.
Speaking of getting the munchies. As more states legalize marijuana, a certain percentage of the population is interested in joining the fun, but they are not sure how to purchase pot from a legal dispensary. A San Diego-based rapper is helping to weed out any concerns. MC Flow, a medical marijuana user since 2009, has just released Welcome to the Dispensary, a hummable how-to that explains the process of purchasing legal cannabis. Some of her roach clip-riddled rhymes include walls and walls of green buds, jugs full of flour, indicas for couch, sativas for the power. Bow to the bud tender because he's paid by the hour as your concierge of cannabis with OG Sour. Flo, her real name Abby Dorsey, recorded a video at Urban Leaf, a dispensary in San Diego. So
Abby
in case
Dorsey.
you so now what we need is a bong with a button that connects to the internet
Yes.
to order pizza.
The other end of your vibrator. That's right.
And that's got to go to Pizza Hut.
This
Because
too,
Domino's sucks.
this too is the subject I know nothing about. I told you I just lost the job
Right. Well, yeah. You
over.
don't talk about Fight Club or weed.
Yeah. I talk about plenty of it now because.
Well, yeah, because you're unemployed. So
So yeah, Abby, you said sour. No. Okay.
I'm all for anything that gets you high.
yeah,
You know,
Anything?
just not anything,
Yeah.
but you
Wait,
know.
You're
You know
on your
what?
lunch break.
That makes me think about a valid point. Like, why do we humorize addiction so much? Like coffee addiction. We make a joke about coffee addiction, and like it's probably more addictive than any other substance out there. But the thing
I
is,
can quit it anytime I want, Nate.
no, you can't. You can't. And we use coffee. We use it to justify like being a jerk to people in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm gonna. So pardon me if I talk to you any kind of way. I don't
use that to justify. I'm just a jerk in the morning.
Is that what it is?
that's-
Well, see, that's good. You know, I think what it is, the only reason why we humorize it is because it's not cute, you know, to wear a T-shirt in the morning that says, not till I've had my heroin. You know what I mean?
I want one of those, actually.
Yeah. We should, those are coming soon, actually.
Yeah, and actually,
We should get those.
from all the research I've seen, is cannabis is so not a big addictive drug. It actually has so many more health benefits that I'm just very pro cannabis.
I mean, think about it. I just lost a job for something like that I could do in Denver, free and clear.
Right, and not worry about it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Or California. You know what I mean? Like
Here
so-
in Ohio, once in 2018, when they get their this year when they get the logistics figured out, you can get a card that says,
Exactly.
"Hey, you get to smoke weed."
Exactly.
Or not smoke weed, but gummies or different juices and whatnot.
Right, but that's we got another call.
We got another call.
Man, we are busy today here on
it up.
Life.
on the life.
Let's see who we got here. This is Life. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hello.
All right. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. My name is Pitch.
Pitch? Hey, how you doing, Pitch?
Waverly.
Is that what was it? I caught 3 pitches in there.
Yep, my name is Pitch Waverly, but my good friends call me Rip.
Rip.
Like Rip Grimes off Walking Dead.
Rick. Well,
Pitch,
that
but
makes
they call
sense.
you Rick. Okay,
I
how
thought
you
you
doing?
said Rip.
So did I.
Yeah, like Rip Grimes, Walking Dead. But anyway, I was calling because my wife, she said that Brad Pitt is going to be telling jokes in Ohio next week. Is that true?
What?
I think we can neither confirm nor deny.
That's definitely another confirm or deny.
Yeah, we've heard rumors about a sort of fight clubbish, kind of a comedy-ish show that may or may not happen.
That's Brad Pitt.
Oh, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitch.
Oh, that's
Brad Pitch. I know Brad Pitch. Yeah.
Okay.
He used to date that big girl. Her name was Angelina Swoley, I think. I remember. Yeah, I do know that guy.
That's a sexy girl. That's a sexy girl right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was not.
I
aware
remember that guy.
Yeah. So Nate knows Brad Pitch. I don't. I've not heard of him.
I can neither confirm or deny.
You can either confirm or deny. So okay.
That would be dope if Brad Pitt did comedy, though.
Yeah. Was that all you needed to know? Is where it may or may not be, or what may or may not be happening?
My wife, she just keep begging me, take me to see Brad Pitt tell jokes next week at the club where they're gonna be fighting. I said, hey, I don't know.
Sometimes people fight in the club.
I might not be able to get off work.
Okay, well, if all else fails, you can always order the Rub Grub from Cam Soda, and she'll be happy with the pizza. If you've been listening,
I need that.
yeah, every married man does. That's really something that.
Yeah, man. That's cool. Thanks for calling, sir.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Hey, no.
Call me Rip. You my guys now. You can call me Rip.
All
Got
right,
it, Rip. I'm Rip's guy. That's huge. Put that on a resume.
Said Brad Pitt was coming to do jokes in lovely Dayton, Ohio. Mm.
All right, well, it's getting close to the top of the hour, so I'll let Jess, because Nate's sticking around. He's guest co-hosting for the whole show, and I'll let Jess, if you have anything, any shows that aren't going on that you can't talk about, let us know, or if you have social media or anything like that. Or
Oh yeah, just follow me, Jester00 on Twitter. I typically don't post anything on there, but I'm always a good follow. Right now, I'm sweating like a pregnant nun. I don't know why they turned off the air conditioning in this.
Well, it's actually the time of year here at Wright State. Plus, it's they're actually doing maintenance on them right now. I used to work in the HVAC department here, so
yeah, you would know that.
So yeah, that's why it's a little toasty in here, and we're both big guys. We're both sweating.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I sweat when I eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sweat when I look at things. Just anything. I basically just sweat. That's all I do.
I understand that feeling. You know, I have permanently stained shirts. But wait, that's beside the point. Yeah, come see me nowhere, but I'm sure I'll be getting picked up for some gigs here shortly. Again, I work for Heron Entertainment. If you want to contact me through Facebook, Jess Cordery III, or contact my agent at HeronEntertainment.com.
You should go down to the Ohio Chiefs and see if there's anything going on down there.
Yeah. I've heard that it might not.
What was that date, and what was that possible night?
March 7th. Sign-ups are at 7:30 if you if it happens. Because there's something, there may be I guess there's a fight or something or
you probably got to have if it was to happen, you'd have to have some pretty thick skin.
Oh,
right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it sounds like it'd be a brutal fight.
Mm.
Yeah.
Too bad that's not. It's a good thing that's not a real thing.
Right.
It
that would
sounds
be
dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds like you could really get roughed up in a place like that.
At the very least, you get your little feelings hurt.
Oh yeah,
that's
be like taking ranch off a fat girl. Nothing good can come out of it.
No. No, or are you taking the hot sauce out of like Hillary's bag? That's dangerous too. You know, Hillary go everywhere with that hot sauce. Oh yeah,
absolutely,
man,
absolutely. She's known for that. Everybody,
clearly
everybody knows that.
Her and Beyonce, hot sauce in the bag. Those only two.
Take it to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Take it to the bank.
Yep. Don't know how she didn't win. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to take a little break. Play some. We'll do our top of the hour playing of a whole bunch of ads, and we will be back here shortly.
There's a reason they call them lazy Sundays. There's nothing better than sitting around and enjoying the comforts of a good book. But what book should that be? Well, every Sunday, Eventide brings you The Bookseller, hosted by Jessica Gillen. Each week, Jessica breaks down a different book and tells you everything you need to know before cracking it open and getting lost in a whole new world. Tune in every Sunday for The Bookseller with Jessica Gillen, brought to you by Eventide Entertainment. The weekend is over. Monday is here. But that doesn't have to be the end of your fun. Every week, Ellison Smith brings you a new episode of Saltwater Gaming, breaking down video games of all different genres, consoles, platforms, and eras. Get it all every Monday on Saltwater Gaming, brought to you by Eventide Entertainment. If there's one thing that's true about wrestling fans, it's how much they like to talk about wrestling. Join Aaron Lopez and Ben Norsworthy for the Top Rope Wrestling Podcast.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Tune in every episode and be ringside as these two break down all of the big matches in the world of professional wrestling. Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Have you got anything without spam in it? Well, spam, egg, sausage and spam. There's not got much spam in it. I don't want any spam.
Why can't you have egg, bacon, spam and sausage?
That's got spam in it.
Not as much as spam, egg, sausage and spam.
Look, could I have egg, bacon, spam and sausage without the spam? What do you mean? I don't like spam.
Spam, 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 spam.
All right, we are back on the live radio show. I'm your host, Don Smith. See this thing. This how this thing's messing up. It still reminded me I got to take a break, even though we just took a break and came back from break.
Might be break.
See this? Yeah, it might be break time. All right, well we'll be back shortly.
See you next time.
Yep, it's been a rough show. So many breaks in here. Yeah, that's all we get. So you didn't really promote much, but
hey, take what I can get. I'm just thankful to be here, and I'm.
You can pull that mic down a little closer. That way you can. Yeah, because it's
okay.
they're kind of tricky. You got to be fair. It's all over the place. So
is this close enough?
That should be fine.
Okay.
We're back. Jess Cordery headed on down the road. He's being replaced by Joseph Anderson.
That's right.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Joseph.
Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun to be here. So
yeah, and we're just getting started.
Okay.
You don't even know.
Yeah,
You don't even know, Joseph.
I figured I'd get that out of the way right away.
Yeah, just
that way. If
just
it's miserable,
you always lie right off the bat, and that way you hope that it lives up to it.
That is how to be successful.
Yeah.
Just lie to people as soon as you meet them.
Yep. So you are a filmmaker, correct?
I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah.
It's fun to say that now.
It's fun to say that.
Authoritatively a filmmaker. So
Nice.
I've made a film.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about your film. What's the? Is it a short? Did you do a feature length?
Yeah, we did a feature film.
Feature film.
We just got distribution. I forgot the word.
That's okay. It's
about a week ago or so. So it's been just crazy exciting thing to get that so quick. First film. But we shot the whole thing in Alderson, West Virginia, this little mountain town. Used to be a coal mining town, so it's been kind of decimated by the economy and everything now. So, but it's a super cool place. Very eerie. Everywhere you look, something abandoned. Yeah. So it's the perfect setting for a horror film, which is what we decided to make there.
Oh, so. Okay. Because I thought it was a perfect setting for a horror film, so we made a romantic comedy.
Sometimes those are the same. So
it's fairly
the
close,
movie is
yes.
called The Grave Caller.
Nice.
And we have updates on our Facebook page and The Grave Caller. If you go to Facebook and just look at The Grave Caller.
Well,
I think it's the only one that exists.
The only grave caller that exists.
Yeah, if you search for it on IMDb, it'll pop up. Again, the only grave caller in IMDb. So I guess we picked a pretty good name.
Yeah.
That nobody else has at the moment. So that's
good.
really hard
That's
to
good.
do.
Yeah,
to find a title that's never been used before. So
yeah, without going crazy with it.
Yeah, it's not like Grave Caller 1343 or something.
Right, because I was actually in a film a while back that never actually got distribution, but it was called The League of Extraordinary Alcoholics versus the Horde of Really Creepy Undead Zombie Flesh Eaters. So that was the only one of those.
And I am assuming that was a romantic comedy.
Yes, it was.
Sounds.
Yeah, it was. Well, it
period
was,
piece.
Yeah, it was. It was a historical fiction.
Okay.
Historical
Where can we find
romantic
that?
comedy. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Are you sure you were in a movie?
I
was anybody else there?
drinking a lot at the time.
Okay. So.
And so was everybody else on the cast. It never actually got finished.
He was in a mental institution.
Yeah.
They told him,
Yeah,
hey,
they said,
you're
let's
in a movie,
make a
Don.
movie. And so I'm out of the institution? Is that...
Well, this could all be. Have you ever seen, what's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie where they convince him he's a detective?
What was
Shutter
that?
Island.
Oh, I haven't seen a lot.
Is
of
this
it.
your
Yeah.
Shutter Island?
It could be.
We're all just playing this this game.
Yeah.
Bet you're not crazy. I don't know where we're going with any of this, but
Well, welcome to the live radio show.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going with any of this. I've been doing this for 3 years, never had any idea where I was going with this.
sounds a lot like my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Good
that's
analogy for my life.
Yeah, well, that's an artist thing. A lot of we just wander around aimlessly. Not that I'm calling myself an artist, but
You totally just called yourself an artist.
So you guys are both comics?
Yes.
Is that fair to assess?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as much anymore, but I for a while I've been on stage in some time.
Oh, I
so
see.
I spend more time doing this.
You got a radio voice for sure. But
Yeah.
I
appreciate that.
If I could be a comic, if I was that funny, I would do it in a heartbeat. Like that would be the dream, right? Like nobody else. You represent yourself. There's nobody else involved.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems something so I don't know, so much fun about. Like nobody else gets in the way of you and the audience. It's just
that's
Is that
fun
accurate?
and frightening.
It's
at
a
the same
nightmare,
time.
actually.
Yes,
it's a nightmare.
It's not
certainly
fun at
can
all.
be.
No, but you know what? I'm a comic that with aspirations of being a filmmaker. So
okay.
like
Let's trade.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, let's just trade careers for the week.
Yeah.
See how it works out.
And just
After I get
bomb
abused
horribly
Yeah.
at each other's jobs.
Yep. Yeah, and if they had that Fight Club we were talking about earlier, that might not happen, might not exist.
I wasn't
this Fight Club
in that
There's a
conversation.
comedy Fight Club that's
Okay. That sounds
supposed to. It may or may not be because nobody can confirm.
so you can't talk.
Yeah,
about
right.
First rule and second
Right.
rule.
That's what
Yeah. I know nothing about this.
You know
Right.
who I saw 2 weeks ago? I saw Gallagher.
Really.
Yeah.
I thought about. I've seen him like 3 times.
You've
over
seen
the-
him live
so-
3
like
times?
in the 90s.
Wow. Yeah.
Did
He
he
gets
get fruit on
70.
you?
He still does the fruit.
Did he
thing.
get fruit on you?
I was too far back, but man, that guy smashes some watermelon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I got the tickets as a joke. Every time my mom's Facebook was left open, then I would visit her at home. I would replace her pictures with Gallagher's. This has been going on for like 8 years. For no reason. She doesn't care about Gallagher. I just thought it was funny to do that. So
That
this
is
year for
very
Christmas, she got me Gallagher tickets.
Oh, that's funny.
I think, I don't know. But anyway, I went and saw him, and I don't care about Gallagher that much. I mean,
Well,
no
I
opinion.
was a big fan until Sledge-O-Matic took over every aspect of his show.
Yeah.
When in the 80s, I thought he was brilliant. As a stand-up comic,
You
not
thought Gallagher was brilliant.
his actual comedy.
Defend
not,
yourself.
Not the Sledge-O-Matic. I thought
Okay.
that ruined him. You look at some of his earlier stuff. Actually,
was-
before he had Sledge-O-Matic,
Yeah.
the guy was funny.
If he had just not done that, he would be considered a great comic.
When it started.
Yeah.
It started out. It was a bit. It was a bit making fun of like the Ron Popeil, and all the infomercials that were getting big at the time, and that's what he was making fun of.
Yeah.
The only problem is
Took off.
that took off, and he just kind of played to the lowest common
he was doing a
denominator,
satire
and
on-
that's where he just went off the rails. But yes, I was a fan of Gallagher in the '80s before Sledge-O-Matic went really stupid.
Yeah, it's too bad that became his. Because
Yeah.
now he's
Yeah,
looked at kind of
absolutely.
as
Yeah.
a joke, and he's not looked at as a
Right.
great comic. But
Right.
man, he's
Be-
71
Wow.
out there.
Did they have to give him a smaller Sledge-O-Matic?
Yeah.
Was it lighter?
Yeah.
I believe it actually was.
He brought it on the stage with a dolly.
I think his
He
set
had a
was.
little rope and a pulley so he could.
think he went
it was
for
hooked
3
to
hours.
his walker.
Are you serious?
The 71-year-old man went for at least 2.
Wow. Yeah.
It might have been 3, but man, it was actually a fun show. I went to admittedly kind of went to see what this was all about.
See, I get a lot of crap from other comics whenever I say I was a fan of Gallagher.
I don't think
because most people you hear Gallagher, all it is prop comics and prop comedy and sledge-o-matic. But no, in the 80s, his actual comedy was brilliant, I thought.
Yeah, so I got to meet him. He was just walking around before the show. Like, he wasn't backstage or anything.
That can be kind of dangerous.
Yeah, well, at first I didn't know it was him because he's so old. His hair's like, looks like, white and over. It doesn't look like the Gallagher we all know and love. But anyway, I was like, I think that might be him. And I was right. And it was Gallagher. So I got my photo with Gallagher. And then, I watched the 3-hour show. So that's my last, comic show or whatever.
You know what? I think Gallagher should at all times be carrying like a slice of watermelon or cantaloupe or something, just so you recognize him. Like, oh, that's Gallagher. There's the fruit. See,
that might be it.
See, you would have known instantly if he was carrying around like a bowl of fruit rings or something like that. I don't know.
And a little hammer.
Yeah, and a little hammer. Just at all times. That's so that way, in case you get confused, like, oh no, that's totally Gallagher.
Yeah.
You don't even have to look at his life alert bracelet. Like, no, it's him. It's him.
Allergies.
There's
watermelon.
A nectarine laying right next to him.
Yeah, but it's been smashed, so you can tell.
So that's it. I'm just trying to figure out how long I can get a conversation about Gallagher
stuck in his
going.
hair still, so from the last show. Because it actually got to where it was more. It was less smashing fruit to where he would make pies of all kinds of random crap. Is he still doing those?
He did an hour of just comedy, and then the last, I think he did 45 minutes of pie smashing. So he does go for a while.
Right.
If you're gonna see Gallagher, you're gonna see the pies get smashed. Don't worry.
Absolutely.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. He's gonna
worry.
do it. He's got an hour of comedy that's not bad.
Yeah.
Before.
See, I haven't seen his comedy lately, but I know in the 80s I really liked his actual comedy.
I think he's been doing the same act, I suspect, for 30 years. I think he's been telling the same. He's not like Louis C.K.
Well, yeah, I couldn't see him going to a lot of open mics to try to work on material,
No.
Do 5-minute open mic and bring his whole case full of fruit and hammers.
There's a great YouTube clip of him just destroying this new comic, though. This new comic's bombing on stage, and Gallagher's there for some reason and just is lighting this guy up. It's like, go sit down and come back up. Like, this is not working for you.
I think I saw that.
So he was laying into this guy, but anyway. So that's
Well, when you build a career, getting fruit on people, you get to do that. Like, you get to go and heckle new comics.
Go and heckle new comics starting out because they don't have a hammer.
Yeah,
probably made the guy better, or it made him quit. But
yeah.
But anyway, if you at home look up Gallagher heckling new comic, it's definitely cringeworthy.
Oh, good.
It'll make you feel bad for him. But anyway, so that's
so anyway, you made a movie.
Yeah, I made a movie.
We'll move on to more important things. You made a movie.
Yeah,
a horror movie, The Grave Caller.
That's right. What kind of questions would you have about such a film?
I don't know. What can you tell us about it? Because you said you have distribution. When is it going to be coming out? When
looks
is it
like so
available?
when you send it off to the distributor, it takes about 3 to 4 months. So we're still June-ish. You should be able to find it in Redboxes and things like that.
Oh, nice. Okay. Going out to now, is the distributor through Redbox or
no? They just work with people like that. Amazon Prime, and then you try and get it into Walmarts and stuff like that. It's not really. It'll be up to the distributor where it ends up.
Right.
It won't really have much to do with me, but it's definitely exciting for sure.
When you get one that's actually being distributed, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, and making a movie is really it's a scary endeavor because it's not like learning something. It's not like learning the guitar, maybe even being a comic. You can, when you're learning a new thing, you can usually adjust on the fly. If you're not, if it's not going well,
right?
If you're making a mistake on a guitar, you can tell, oh, this sounds awful.
Mm-hmm.
When you make a movie, you have no idea until you get back, and then you edit stuff together until you realize, oh shit, this is not.
Yeah.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, and then it's not like you can get everybody back together to reshoot because I've been involved in filmmaking. I haven't made any of my own, but as far as acting and helping out with things, I've been doing that for several years, and it's always neat to get distribution. It's always a neat process because there's so much involved. Especially, I don't know if I could ever direct unless I was paying people.
Yeah.
Because I would I'd have to fire a lot of
You want to pay people so you can fire them?
Exactly, because you'd have to every now and then. But
yeah, so it's a scary process. You don't really know how this is all coming together while you're shooting. It's just kind of doing something blindfolded a little bit.
yeah.
Now, you mentioned Amazon. So is this going to be available for streaming once? Or?
Yeah, it'll predominantly be on streaming services. It's just
Okay.
I can't say for sure which ones at this very
Right,
moment.
right.
But yeah, I think streaming's kind of the way most people watch.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the last time I rented a movie.
No, I don't understand how family videos are still open. You still
It's
see
crazy to see
you still
family
see
videos.
family
Wow.
videos still open.
Yeah, there's one not too far from here. Down the
Yeah,
street.
well, yeah, they just don't want to.
They just keep. And I think it's like $1 in a movie there. But yeah, so Family Video, we might actually end up at Family Video.
I was upset.
So then it'll
when,
give me a
when
reason to go
Blockbuster
now.
went. Yeah, there you go. Now
It's
everybody,
on the docket. It's on the docket of potential
yeah,
places.
that's what's saving them. The independent films. That's what keeps Family Dollar afloat.
Yeah, I miss going to the video store. Like, I miss Blockbuster.
I loved Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I did because you could go through and actually browse through stuff. Yeah.
Just an experience,
Yeah.
of looking at the backs of the videos and seeing, oh, this one I haven't heard of. What's this one? Whereas online, I don't really, I'm not finding.
You don't get that anymore. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
it's the
these-
same
these-
with the music too. Like I miss being able to look inside a CD and read about how it was made or who was
yeah, the
involved.
Well,
in it.
yeah, all the stuff on
Yeah.
the cover. Yeah.
Mhm.
You do always look for the special guest. Who played on this?
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now I don't even know the names of the songs anymore because I just go, track 3.
Yeah.
I really have no idea what any of the songs
Yeah.
are called anymore.
That's true.
But I used
That is a fair assessment. Like I don't know what the song's called. It's just my favorite one.
Yep. Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah,
we're talking
so-
about movies though. Let's talk
Well,
about
I'm the one who keeps
We're,
veering off.
we're,
It's my
we're
fault.
going everywhere. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's,
So
that's how we roll.
so this one I actually started writing like 15 or 20 years ago. Like I started getting
wow.
ideas for this in college, but it was never with the idea of a movie in mind. It was just, this is kind of a cool scene.
Mhm.
And then, I'd think of like a dead girl crying at a dinner table, and then I'd draw her or something. And then over the years, I started like, what's the story of that? And then I just started drawing it out until I was like, I think we have a movie on our hands.
Nice.
And didn't know how to make a movie. So this is kind of a random story. I still don't know what to make of this story. In 2011, I really wanted to make a movie, this movie, but I realized like I better learn how to do something first. So
Right.
I was like, I'll make a movie about a clown. What if Ronald McDonald got fired from McDonald's, but he was like, a clown was a real thing, not a man.
Right.
What would that clown go do? And so
Go on.
Yeah, because Ronald McDonald's kind of creepy.
yeah, he's
Anyway.
kind of creepy. But like, what would he do? He's so associated with the franchise. What would that thing go do if it was an actual clown, not a person? Because if you think about it, what is a clown? I actually have no idea.
Yeah.
Like if a man's dressed up like a rabbit,
A clown is a nightmare. That's what
I guess it's a nightmare.
Right. Yeah.
If a man's dressed up like a rabbit, I know that what a rabbit is. But if a man's dressed up like a clown,
Yeah. What's the basis of
What's
it?
the clown?
Where did it come from?
so that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to dive into that. So anyway,
nice.
like who am I going to get to play this clown? And then I went and saw a band called the Eagles. I went and saw them play. And the opening act was a 7-foot clown. And he got on stage. I lived in New York at the time. And he got on stage with a lantern. He stood there for like 3 minutes. Didn't do a thing. He wasn't on the, on the ticket or anything. He wasn't the opening act.
He just kind of
He
showed
just
up.
showed up.
Just showed up with a lantern. 7 feet tall.
Oh
Wow.
no. Yeah.
Wow.
See.
And then, so people are starting to heckle him a little bit. Like, what are you doing? Like, not lighthearted heckling, but like mostly confused yelling.
Right. Right.
Like New York stuff.
Yeah.
New York stuff. And then he starts singing. It's the best voice I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's amazing.
It was this operatic thing, and it was better than the show. His name was Puddles the Clown.
What?
I think I've heard.
He's
of
gotten
Puddles the
famous
Clown.
lately.
Yeah,
he was on.
yeah,
He was just on America's Got Talent.
Okay. Yeah.
and he almost
that's-
won.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where I've heard of that.
So he got Puddles. And so anyway, I found him. They didn't ever announce his name.
Mhm.
So I was like, who was that clown? I was like, that's the clown I need in my movie.
And
Yeah.
did he agree to do it?
Well, I found him online like 2 weeks later. Some headline on the internet said, "Clown punches lead singer of Eels in the face and gets kicked off the tour." And in the article, it said his name. Puddles the Clown punched Mark Oliver in the face, gets kicked off Eels tour.
Wow.
It's like his name's Puddles. The punch in the face didn't deter me at all. So I was
Right.
like,
Well, yeah. That's
now
if anything.
I'll have
If
to have
anything,
him
yeah.
now.
If
yeah, that
anything,
makes him
that's
better. I might
yeah.
get punched in the face by a clown. So it turns out the punch was staged. It was all fake. He had to leave for some other reason. It said, let's do this way it goes viral. if you're going to go, let's go out.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Get some publicity out
and
of
it did. So I contacted him, and he lived in Atlanta. I lived in New York. I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. This is what I'm doing. Explain exactly what I told you guys. He's like, sure, I'll come. I did not think he would really come. And when he said it, I was excited. While I was talking, when he said it, I'll come, I was like, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never made a movie my whole life. But I didn't tell him that.
Right.
So
you got to
he
fake
flew
it. Yeah.
into Long Island, New York, and spent a couple of days with us making this little low budget film. And that's when I really got the taste of like, oh, you know, even though that may not have gone as well as I'd hoped, because I literally had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
It was like, oh, this is really fun. Like, if I learn how to do this, wow.
Now, is that something that we can see?
You can find it. I'm not going to announce it for the world. I'll tell you guys.
Come on.
It's kind of embarrassing because it's so badly done. But I also, you know, it's not his fault. And so he did a great job.
I was in a zombie movie wearing a loincloth.
But you told me I can't find it.
What's that?
But you told me I cannot find it.
There are if you look up I think LXA gag reel, there is some stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, just because he's starting to get really famous. I don't want my
right. You don't want to bring Puddles down with you.
I don't want to bring his momentum with my ineptitude as a filmmaker.
Gotcha.
I don't have those hesitancies about the Gravecaller. You go see that one.
Okay.
But the one where I failed wildly, maybe not that one. But anyway, so Puddles got.
Well, yeah, I never posted any of my recorded sets from the chapter, so nobody wants to post their failures online.
Yeah, no, nobody.
Let me ask you this: Did you always? So, were you always into the horror genre? Is that why you went with horror film for your?
I don't like horror movies very much at all. I think that they could be very compelling stories, but typically in horror films, the ones I've seen lend towards the slasher.
Right.
And I don't find that, like, as an adult male, those aren't scary.
No.
You know, they would have been. A monster's scary when I'm little, and I think the intent of the horror film is to scare you.
Mm-hmm.
And if that element's not happening, then it doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'm trying to think of the last scary movie I saw.
I was gonna say, what movie scared you?
I mean, when I was little, like Poltergeist and stuff like that. But the last movie that really got under my skin, I think, was probably a movie called Killer Joe with Matthew McConaughey.
I think I've heard of it.
It wasn't scary. It was just kind of disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I think that would be why it's scary. You know what I mean? I'm the same way. I get tired of the all right, here's a whole lot of blood. Aren't you afraid now?
Yeah.
Like when they went nuts with the whole Saw genre. Like the first Saw movie I thought was great, but then it's like, do we have to see that 9 times?
Yeah. Not much has changed with it.
No.
I really haven't seen. I saw the first Saw, and I haven't seen any of it.
So is that what we can expect out of the Gravecallers? Is it something that's going to be like, you know, something that's going to mess with us, going to tap dance in the back of the mind?
I hope it sticks with you for a while after you've seen it. I like movies that maybe things are a little left undone, so you're kind of like figuring stuff out. The Gravecallers is definitely more on that side of things. It's definitely, hopefully, it's making you think like, wait, what was that about? You know, the next day, as opposed to like so many movies I'll see and I actually forget right away what the movie was even about because they didn't do anything. They didn't, you know.
Didn't speak to you, right?
Didn't speak to me. Didn't get any emotional response or anything like that. So I kind of forget the movie. The superhero movies are doing that to me. Like I forget what the movies are about
I don't
right
really
away.
watch them. I'm not a big fan of any of the superhero movies.
I'm not going to sit here with you two white gentlemen and bash Black Panther.
No, I haven't seen that.
I'm not. I haven't seen it, so I can't.
No,
I can't
that's not what I
bash
meant.
anything. I haven't seen it.
I'm kidding. I made it.
Don't tell Ed John I haven't seen it. He'll be, he's asking every white man he knows.
Yeah, that's part of our job now. Like, we have to
promote the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Gravecaller is definitely more of I would call it a psychological thriller.
Nice.
Those are fun.
So it's not a lot of jump scares and things like that, but I think it will get under your skin. It is a creepy film. It's about sort of the choices we make and how the ghosts of our choices live on long after we are gone.
Oh wow!
So I would say that's the best 10-second
that sounds
pitch
very
I could give. It's
cool.
It's about the ghosts of our choices that live on way past our expiration date.
Yeah.
And so the movie,
the thought of that is actually kind of creepy. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, especially for comics thinking about their past choices. That's
The thought of that is actually very creepy. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
So it's about a man who's been an alcoholic, and his wife leaves him as a result of being an alcoholic. And the movie starts, he's just gone through his 2 years of sobriety. He's probably in the 80s, is that setting. And he's gone through his 2 years of sobriety, and his wife comes home that day. That's where the movie starts. That night they go out, and he hasn't been around alcohol in 2 years. He smells it. He ends up drinking in the bathroom on her first night back. She's only back because he stopped drinking.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And then she smells it on his breath. She has this big fight with him and leaves, and starts to walk back to the cabin that they live in to get her stuff and leave again. On the way back, she's abducted. And then, obviously the husband's the main suspect here, but he did not.
Right.
And we don't make that a mystery, did he or did he not? That's not the point of the film.
Okay.
The point of the film then is how does he deal with his wife is now gone. He finds her badly beaten in the cabin, but the guy's still in there who was beating her. Ends up beating the husband because he doesn't see her. Takes her. So it's about sort of the psychosis he goes into while he's trying to figure out what happened. And he makes some really bad choices. I won't give those away. And then the film picks up again 20 years later after he's gone with his nephew, and sort of how they're still dealing with some of those things.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the synopsis of the movie.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, it definitely sounds interesting.
It does. That sounds very intriguing. I can't wait. Now, when you said we don't know yet, but
yeah, I'm going to keep the Facebook page updated for sure. So as
Okay.
soon as we get a release date, that's going to be all over that thing. So if you could just follow that as soon as it gets updated, you guys will too. We'll probably start putting the trailers are done, so we'll probably start putting those up on the site. Right now, it's literally one picture. I think it's the posters on there right now because I put it up like 3 days ago.
Okay.
So I'll get that thing updated. So if you follow that, you'll get the release date and all that stuff. But
cool.
Yeah, it was one of the best experiences I've ever been in. Making the film is so much fun. So if you've probably had some of those experiences.
it's a fascinating just a fascinating series of events in order to get one together. Just the process is kind of crazy.
There's so many things that can go wrong and so many things that do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's your worst story of something going wrong on set?
I'll try and make them quick, and I'll give you two, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a scene where one of the main characters drowns in a bathtub of cockroaches, but we needed a bathtub, right? So I had to order a bathtub from Amazon. They sell bathtubs there. You can order a bathtub on Amazon. So.
Can you order them full of cockroaches, or you have to provide your?
We ordered cockroaches also. You can actually have cockroaches mail ordered to your house. I know that you guys probably want that very badly.
Absolutely.
Look, man, I know plenty of houses you can just walk in and pick some cockroaches up.
Yeah, you don't have to order anything.
I ain't ordering nothing.
Houses come with it.
Yeah. So anyway, we needed this bathtub. I ordered the bathtub, but I realized it wouldn't fit in my car to take to the cabin in West Virginia.
Right.
So I couldn't transport it from New York to the location of filming. So there was a guy I'd never met who I knew kind of looks after the cabin that we were filming at. His name's Arnie. Arnie lives in Alderson, West Virginia. And if you've never heard people talk from Alderson, West Virginia, it's very slow. Yeah. So I never met this man. He doesn't know who I am. And I call up Arnie. I go, Arnie, hi, my name's Joseph. I'm making a movie at the cabin that you're a caretaker at. And I just wanted to know if I could send a bathtub to your house. And he goes, well, I guess that would be okay. Like that. So I guess we were good with Arnie. So, that problem solved. So anyway, it's the first day of shooting. We're going to shoot that scene. It's a Saturday. So I've got about 5 of the cast with me. But our lead actor also had not shown up yet, Nathaniel Grauman, for reasons not his own fault. He just hadn't arrived yet when he was supposed to. So already I'm getting a little stressed out. Like, wait, our lead actor's not here. This is day 1. Let me check if the bathtub's arrived at least. So I look on my Amazon app. Yeah, it's delivered.
Okay.
So I call up Arnie, again, who I don't know. And I go, Arnie, is the bathtub there? It says it's been delivered. And he walks out and he goes, nope, no bathtub here. Oh. Do you know where the bathtub is? It's like, what do you do? So, I'm like, okay, well, if it comes, just give me a call back. Like, I don't know what kind of, some hot water here, no pun intended. And then, and our lead actor still hasn't shown up. And so I'm like, are we done? Like before we started, is this the end of the movie? Like we haven't shot at all. And I really do think that's it. So, I'm having this little panic attack inside, but I can't let anybody know
Right.
that, hey, this is almost over. Because, you don't want the rest of the people to panic in case you're not over.
Yeah, because
So,
then everybody else goes home and the people you were waiting on show up and you have your bathtub.
Exactly.
Right, and
Now I've got
all
a
your
bathtub.
roaches, too.
Yeah, I got cockroaches bathtub.
Don't forget that part.
Yeah.
That's a real creepy scenario. Just by yourself.
That it is. That's fear factor kind of stuff there.
So anyway, it's about an hour now after all this, and still no sign of either of the bathtub or Nathaniel. And I'm really starting to think, okay, what do we do now? Can I write a movie with none of these elements on the spot with what we have?
Yeah, rewrite everything.
Yeah, just change the movie. And all of a sudden, I see a car coming up the mountain. I see a car, and I'm like, oh, I think that's Nathaniel's car. I hadn't met him either, by the way. And behind him is a truck, and a truck with a bathtub in it. And they both arrived, coincidentally, at the same exact moment.
Nice.
And Arnie gets out. He's like, hey, I found your tub. And it had been dropped off on an abandoned porch, like an abandoned cabin's porch. And Arnie just walked down the road looking at porches. And he found it 2 miles later. Amazon dropped it off
So you just hope it was the correct one.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't, we were going to use it. If this man brings me a tub, that tub is getting in the scene. So.
Well, it's a good thing he had the wherewithal and the foresight to just start walking up that hill.
Yeah.
Looking at porches.
I would say Arnie knows how the mail system works there.
How often does Amazon drop off stuff at that abandoned house that Arnie knew that? Though?
Right.
That must be
I
it.
wonder if he orders.
Arnie
orders things to that abandoned house that he doesn't want his wife to know about.
That's right.
Think.
Yes, there we go. Let's besmirch this great man's character right away. This man who saved the film. Let's just trash him. This weirdo hides porn there.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right, Arnie.
That's
no,
terrible.
but Arnie ended up being a part of the film. He got us locations and things like that.
Awesome.
He would stay at the location while we were filming, like for 7 hours sometimes.
Well, I'm sorry. I made him sound like a weirdo.
No.
That's
I wonder what he would say if he heard us making him sound like a weirdo.
No, I don't think I don't know Arnie to say he's a weirdo. It's just it's what happens on the life, man. Like you never know what you'll say that will just send us careening off the rails.
He was great, and again, staying 7 hours just to hang out, just so that we could film on a location.
Yeah.
Some of the locations were like, well, if Arnie stays, you can film here, and then Arnie would say, okay, well, I'll stay.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest disasters, almost, and then after that, I was really calm about everything. Everything that was about to go wrong, it's just like, nah, it'll be all right, and everything just kind of worked out. After the bathtub incident, everything worked out. So,
did the roaches come on time though? That's the question.
The roaches we filmed on green screen. We filmed those months later, and that was really roaches are great actors. I didn't know how easy it is to control a roach to get it to go from point A to point B. I thought they'd be crazy.
No, all you do is turn on the light.
Yeah, turn on the
stomp
light.
your feet. There you go.
But yeah, so the roaches turned out to be a much easier group of actors.
Wow.
We had 80 of them, and they were great. Fed them, made sure they were treated well. Then
craft services for the roaches.
Craft services for my roaches, and they did a great job.
Buffet.
Easiest actors to work with.
Yeah, just drop some Kool-Aid sugar on the floor.
There wasn't a lot of talking back.
No
Never
talking
had a
back. They took direction easily.
What's my motivation in this scene?
Their motivation.
Your
was
motivation
easy to
is that sticky fruit punch stain on the floor, right there, Mr. Roach.
Yep.
So they had to fall out of a ceiling. We got lucky. We got a guy named Ben Sumner to animate that. So did the VFX for the shot where they fall into the bathtub, and Ben
Did you
does
use stunt roaches for.
We used stunt. We didn't want to hurt our main actor roaches.
Exactly.
So we had some.
You don't want to.
But Ben does like the computer animation on like Game of Thrones and
Really?
Captain America, the
Awesome.
first whatever that was, and so he's the real
Nice.
deal. And then we were walking around Alderson. We had Ben, who's just phenomenal. But we're walking around after we shot one day, and this family comes out and they're like, "Oh, hey, our son, he likes to do the movies. He's real interested in making movies." And I'm thinking, like, okay, what are the odds this is going to turn out well?
Right.
Like, just a random, oh, he likes to do the movies. All right. And then he's like, here, let me call him. His name's Ryan. He's great. He's a good boy. Like, that stuff like that. I was like, all right, here comes a good boy. Is he a dog? Is he a child? And this guy Ryan shows up, and Ryan is one of my favorite people in the world.
Okay,
I
don't
wanna
make
preface.
fun of Ryan.
Okay.
No, I just want to
Let's
preface
hear
as I'm
about-
about to do it. And he was like, kind of talks down here with the bottom of his throat. He's like, "Hi, I'm Ron. I'll just love making movies." And I'm thinking, there's no way this kid is going to work out. Ryan is a super genius, turns out.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, because he's like, "Yeah, I just need a chance. I need somebody to give me an opportunity." And I'm like, "What? Come with us,
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that, this is a disaster waiting to happen. But Ryan is one of the most talented VFX artists there are.
Really?
And now he's done like every big movie since then, like the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. He just did Black Panther.
Wow.
If you look at
Wow.
Ryan Allen on IMDb, you will see the biggest hits of the last 3 years.
Huh.
We just found him in a town,
Wow.
and
That's
just walking
amazing.
around. So that could not happen any other time.
Yeah.
What?
See, I was asking for disaster stories. These
I'm
don't
telling you
sound
good
like-
stories.
Yeah, that doesn't
I gotta
sound
say,
like a
Dan Rick's
disaster
part, but-
story. That's awesome.
What type of struggles did you run into on your way towards getting your distribution? Like,
I wish the story had more bumps in the road. I put it on IMDb, and then I started getting offers from distributors. So
Really?
before, I didn't even know that happened.
Mhm.
Like, I'm still pretty new at all this. And so I was thinking I'll put it in film festivals and see what happens.
Mhm.
And I still probably will do that. But this just kind of came out of nowhere. We got three distributors like, "Hey, we think that your film fits into what we like to do.
wow.
Can we take a look at it?" And so that's kind of how that worked out. It kind of happened.
Wow.
The whole thing was weird. Like, everything kind of fell into place.
Mhm.
As you would. The making of the movie is almost better than the movie. It's just like none of these things sound real. Even when I'm talking about, like, Ryan Allen's just walking around and does Black Panther.
That's amazing.
And he lives in Quebec now. Like, we couldn't have found him if we went there now. He moved to Toronto and then Quebec and from West Virginia.
Essentially, you put him on.
Oh, yeah. We
You
gave
put
him his
him on.
break. We
There
gave him
you
his
go.
break.
There you
go.
I'll take full credit for his entire
Absolutely,
career.
man.
And he would do things like he would hold the boom mic. He would find his flowers. He wasn't like doing VFX with us. He was like doing all the stuff that we,
Right.
the intangibles. But then he did some effect shots afterwards. And man, the kid is good. We needed the church set on fire. And the shot he did looks so real. People don't know it's not set on fire. And they're like, "Did you
Wow.
call the fire department?" I'm like, "No, that's not real."
That's wow. Yeah, you put him on the map.
Right at the end of the movie. If you watch The Grave Caller, the end of the movie, the last shot, Ryan Allen did that. It's just so good.
Can't wait. Cannot wait to see the Grave Caller.
But disaster story. So we had a cameraman named Dan, and Dan is a savant level cameraman. He's just, you put a camera in his hand, he's phenomenal. He's like, Mozart with a camera. But outside of the camera, once he sets the camera down, you have to be very, very, very specific with the directions you give him. So like if you tell him to put the camera on the tripod, 10 times out of 10 he's going to do it backwards. So you have to say, "Dan, can you please put the camera on the tripod this way?" Like you have to be that level of specific. So there's a shot we're doing. It's like 3 a.m. We're all dead tired. We've been filming all day. And we're just trying to get the shot over with. Not the best attitude when you're making a movie. Let's just get this over with. Usually doesn't lend itself to great results. But anyway, we're getting everything set up. And then in the back of the shot, I can see our lead actor, Jacob Krickenberger's car, which is not supposed to be in the back of the shot. And I'm just so tired, I don't think about it. I go, "Hey, Dan, can you go move Jacob's car out of the shot?" And he's like, "Oh, he's like 20. He's like, "Sure, yeah, I can do that." And he grabs the car keys and he starts the car. As soon as he starts the car, I go, "Oh, wait, that's Dan."
You need to tell.
I turn to our makeup artist, Anna, and I say, "He's going to wreck this car."
Oh, man.
And then 3 seconds later, I hear, "Oh my God!" And then bam. And it's pitch black. We're on a mountain.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh no.
so we can't see what had happened. We can just hear. And we hear the car going. So we run to where the noise is coming from. And the car, luckily had run into a fence post. Otherwise, it was going off of a mountain.
Oh.
If that fence
Wow.
post hadn't been right in front of the car is gone. So
So it
Dan.
could have been a
Wow.
much worse disaster story.
Yeah, and so I run down there, and Dan's in the car, and he has lost his mind. He's just going, "Ah!" And he's just jamming on the gas. And there's just dirt flying out of the tires.
Like, move your foot, man.
I'm like, "Dan, what are you doing?" He looks at me, and he looks back at the car, and he just screams again. So I reach and I turn the car off, and I go, "Dan, what are you doing?" And he runs away into the darkness. Like this was so overwhelming for him that he just took off. We didn't know if Dan was coming back. So yeah, right away wrecked that car. I mean, he was in the car for 3 seconds. What had happened was he turned the car on and had it in neutral on a mountain, and then got out of the car and to try and ask how to turn the windshield.
Started getting away from him,
and then they just went, and he jumps in. And, you know.
Tell me what part in the movie you were filming when this happened, so because I want to know. When I see
That's
it,
right
I
at the
want to
beginning.
know what's going on in the background.
You want to see if the camera's a little shakier than it was before.
You will see in the beginning of the film some bodies dead lined up on the ground, and you'll see them being dragged off.
Okay.
That is the scene.
Okay. I can't wait.
That we almost lost a cast member.
Yes.
It almost turned into a real movie.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is a great disaster story because I don't even have anything to compete with that.
Minimal damage to the car and, minimal damage to Dan's psyche, I think.
Yeah,
but he has recovered since.
Right.
It's funny, later that night,
worse.
now it's 5 a.m. Later that night, I go, hey, Dan, can you go lock up the cabin? I'm in the car. I'm so tired. I go, Dan, can you go? This is right after you wrecked the car. I was like, Dan, can you go lock up the cabin? That's a quick process to lock a door.
Right.
Like you go like this, and then you're done.
They're done.
Then like 6 or 7 minutes later, he hadn't come out. And I go in, and he's literally just holding the doorknob to the door. I'm like, man, what do I do with you?
Well, at least he didn't say he locked himself in.
That's
what I was waiting for.
He's just holding this doorknob like, now what? He was too embarrassed to come get me because...
He had locked it. He turned the lock on the knob.
I don't know. But
removed
that doorknob
it from the door.
Was in his hand.
Wow.
So that was my cameraman. Again, when he's got the camera, it is like he is painting with the lens. But you just got to be very specific sometimes.
Yeah,
he's a great guy. He's one of my favorite people to be around. So
sounds like a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, he'll make the night a lot more interesting.
Wish we could have got him in on the show.
I'll fly him in next time.
Just give him instructions.
I mean, none of these will be here by the end of the. Your mics are gone.
I'm cool with that. I mean, our system isn't even working half the time, so it's not like we're going to know. So we may not even be broadcasting now. So.
Oh, this is great.
You written, produced, direct. Did you do it all?
When you're
Spielberg on this one, right?
When you're doing your own films, you kind of have to wear a lot of hats. It's not something I don't think I'm great at all those things. You just have to do.
Right.
So I wrote it and then directed, shot some of it, edited the whole thing and color corrected all that stuff.
Okay.
I had to wear just a lot of different things. It's fun, but I prefer just to be directing.
Well, did you fund it yourself?
We did raise some money to fund it, and then so I partially funded it, and then some other people helped with that. So it wasn't just by myself.
Nice.
I didn't try Kickstarter. I don't know if Kickstarter really works.
It depends. It depends. I think as a first film, it's a little rougher to do because I know Henrik Kuto's a local filmmaker.
Sure, I know him a little bit.
He I don't know if he does so much anymore with Kickstarter, but there for a while he was doing at least one Kickstarter film a year.
Oh, really?
And he'd usually reach his goal. I think the last one he did on Kickstarter, he reached his full goal within, I think, 21 hours of starting it.
Yeah, so, I'm always so worried about putting it on there and then it doesn't.
Yeah,
then you don't raise
that's the thing. Is it's a
risk.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you have a following there,
then
you're probably gonna get it funded through Kickstarter. But I think starting out, which I mean, you got the one out there getting ready to be distributed, you probably have a good chance.
We'll see how it's received. See if I build a fan base.
There you go.
Yeah, we just raise money by meeting with people and then presenting the vision and kind of saying this is what we hope to do, and some people were kind enough to be very generous with us and help us get through the trials and tribulations of the finances of the film.
Yeah, that's always good because it's, I mean, even with a micro budget, there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration.
Yeah, you got to pay for housing, you got to pay for food, you got to pay all those things, and those add up quick. So, I think filmmaking or anything like you guys as comedians are already doing this stuff, but like I think it's really scary to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Because if you fail, especially if it's something you really want to do, then it gets scarier. Because if you fail at something you really want to do, then it's like So it's almost
Then where do you go? Then it's just disappointment from then on out.
For most people, I think that leaving that open ended is better. Like, oh well, if I never try, then I'll never know. Yeah, maybe I could have, but
So but what's the fun in that though? You don't want to. Not me. That's why I started, man. Like because I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be like, well, what if I would have done it? I didn't want to be laying in a bed somewhere one day, like,
Right.
and looking back, and then, you remember that time when I wanted to do comedy? I should have did it.
It's really brave
you
to be
know.
a comic, I think. It's one of the more brave things you can, because there's no excuse. If you get up there and it doesn't go well, there's no excuses.
There's
that's
nobody,
just
yeah.
you.
That's it. You live and die up there all by yourself.
Yeah. So I think that's a bold move.
Well, I
to
always
do.
blame the audience.
or you can
I'm just kidding.
be a
Yeah,
ventriloquist
it's-
and blame
yeah.
the puppet.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Like,
go.
you
Puppet
can-
wasn't on tonight, but yeah, I think standing up there in front of an audience and doing material you wrote, that's really
Yeah.
brazen.
It's
Well, you'll
all
find
you.
out if it's good or not, though. You'll
Yeah,
find
you will.
out right away.
Well, yeah,
Like,
that's that is definitely one good. Well, that's why I always like live theater, because it's you instantly know if they're into it or not.
Mhm.
You know, and then comedy, I think comedy even more so.
oh yeah, instant
Yeah,
feedback.
Yeah. Whereas films, you got to finish it and get distribution. And
Well, there's a lot of
wait
people
and-
writing on
yeah.
your vision when you make a
Oh,
film. So that's
that
the
too, yeah.
probably component's a little different than comedy is. You know, all these actors and actresses are participating in the thing that you wrote, and
Right.
they're hoping that it turns out well.
Yeah,
And
well,
you got to
as
make
a-
everybody look good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as,
make
as an
everybody look
actor,
good.
as an actor in a film, I know, I hope my part, I hope I do well, but at the same time, as a director, not only do you have to hope everybody does well, you have to hope you don't let them all down.
Right.
I'd say there's a lot of pressure on
Yeah.
that.
So it's definitely So I think a lot of people want to make films, but then they let those excuses, those excuses of obstacles get in their way. Well, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, but
Yeah.
if you really want to do it,
Well,
you can.
that's
It's just-
why I haven't made any, because it's I love the excuses.
you like the excuses too much. Well, hey, if you were getting a lot of enjoyment from excuses, then maybe just
Well,
make a lot of excuses.
I'm a creative person. I like to come up with new excuses every time I don't do something. So I mean, I've got so many excuses.
there's
That's
just
why I
not
haven't
enough
been on
elephants.
stage since October. Is I've been coming up with all kinds of excuses, and that's a lot of the fun. I think I'm going to write them down and just do a book of excuses
The
of
book
why I
is-
don't do stuff I want to do.
There you go.
And
There you
then
go.
What will be the excuse to not write the book?
Right, exactly. That's
There'll be an excuse. There'll be a
that's
reason.
part two.
Part two.
That's the sequel.
We've already gone to part two
Right. Like, I would have wrote that first book
about excuses.
about excuses, but
Yeah, but here's what happened.
Yeah.
this is explaining why I didn't.
So yeah, so that's those are sort of the things you're fighting against is the fear of failure, the excuses of why you can't.
Yeah,
There's a lot to
it's-
contend with when you make a movie.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to not do it than to do it.
It's so much.
But
Making a
it's-
movie is
but
the
it's
most.
not nearly as fun.
Or rewarding.
It's got to be the most inefficient way there is to tell a story. There's not a more inefficient. Why would anybody do this? I mean, if you write a book or a graphic novel or even as a comic, tell your story as a comic. Making a movie is so tedious.
Yeah, and it involves a lot more people.
So many moving
Yeah.
parts, and you
Yeah.
got to worry about how each of those parts fit together. Harmony on set is very important.
Yeah.
Making sure actors and actors, if an actor gets rejected by the lead actress, that's a problem now.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What can you say that you've actually learned about the process, though, that you didn't know beforehand? Because you mentioned that this is all new to you. So
Yeah.
what is the thing that you've noticed, like, wow, I never knew that part was a thing?
The biggest lesson I took away, so everything. I learned everything is more important than I thought it was. But not compromising from the original vision is
Okay.
the biggest thing I learned. So one of the things we did in the movie is we have 4 leads. So the story takes place in 2 different time periods.
Okay.
And that turned out pretty well, I think. But originally it was intended just to have 2 leads in one time period. And the reason we split it into 4 was it was going to be easier to have actors there for 2 weeks as opposed to a month.
Right.
If we don't have a big budget to pay them a lot of money.
Makes sense.
So then I had the other 2 actors make up the rest of the story. But in retrospect, I think I would have kept the original vision intact a little bit more. I still love how it turned out and all that stuff. But yeah, I think we probably could have pulled it off. It's just I doubted myself. I thought, well, no, I solved the problem I didn't have. And I think that's a big thing is looking out for problems you don't have and just solve the problems you do, So that would be the biggest thing. And then audio, I kind of took for granted. Audio is it's 50% of the film. And, there was.
Well, I think as far as the visual in the film, I mean, it can look it can look a little rougher and get away with it.
Absolutely.
I think audio,
You can't.
if your audio's rough, it doesn't matter what your picture quality is. It's just gonna be. Yeah,
I won't watch.
I think that's. I think
hard,
that's
yeah. Mm-hmm.
really brutal.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of really good cinematography ruined by poor audio.
If the visuals don't look great, you might think that was a choice the director made.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But if it doesn't
Yeah,
sound,
you
no
can't-
director's just
yeah,
like, I want
yeah.
this to sound
Yeah, I
awful.
want
Yeah, make
Can
it
we
sound
sound
muffled.
really
Can it be more
terrible?
muffled?
Yeah.
I want people to turn their televisions up as high as they go.
And then I wanted to get loud all the time.
Right. No, I love that. I
so,
love it when movies do that.
Oh, and
Especially when I'm watching at night when the wife's asleep and everything's real quiet, so you got to turn it up, and then it just blasts, and she wakes up and yells at me for waking her up.
commercials have a good habit of that. But,
Yeah.
so yeah, next time I'm obsessed with audio now as a result of
Yeah.
this film.
Good.
So audio will be sort of the first place I go and make sure we got audio, as good as possible. Because again, I didn't know how important. I should have known.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't
Well,
just.
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up. I hate to.
Oh, is
but
that already an hour?
We're going to have to wrap it up. Now, I know you said it's on Facebook.
Yeah, you
There's
can
a
find our Facebook page with the Grave Caller. Just look up the Grave Caller. There's not more than one. And then on IMDb, you can still find us, and that'll get updated as well. So imdb.com is the Grave Caller, and then also on Facebook. So.
Okay. Did you have any other social media you want to throw out there? Anything personal you want to talk about?
I'm a
Twitter or-
videographer. If you're looking for a wedding videographer, AndersonCinema.com. We'd love to come film your wedding, but that's a whole separate side hustle I got going. But AndersonCinema.com, if you want the best wedding video of all time, just hire us, and we will give that to you. So.
All right. And don't forget about March 7th at 7:30 sign-ups for what may or may not be a fight club, a comedy fight club, which may or may not happen at Ohio Chiefs at 1124 Leo Street. Nate certainly knows nothing about it. No, so it may not happen at all. Yeah, we don't even know what we're talking about.
Talk about what?
Yeah, talk about what? Joseph Anderson, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been a pleasure talking to you and meeting you. And keep an eye out for The Grave Caller and check them out on Facebook and IMDb. And hopefully see it soon at Amazon Prime and everywhere else. Hopefully it gets. I even want to see it in family video.
Hey, I do too. I'd love to see it.
I want to see it in IMAX.
And there you go.
You do not want to see this movie in IMAX. We did not film it for IMAX. You'd be like, why is it so grainy?
And Nate Washington, thanks for being my guest co-host.
Absolutely. I had a good time.
Been a lot of fun with you.
I had a good time.
On that note, we're going to go ahead and sign out, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. This has been the Life Radio Show on WWSU 106.9 with your host, Don Smith. The Life is also available in podcast form on iTunes, PodBean, Stitcher, Spreaker, Blueberry, and YouTube, as well as on Eventide Entertainment's podcast network. Be sure to like the Life Radio Show on Facebook, and if you have any comments or suggestions, email thelife1069@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Now get out there and enjoy some live comedy this week. You can check out wileyscomedy.com for all your upcoming shows.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence